What is Tetryonic theory? Tetryonics is the grand unified theory of mass, energy and matter in space over time. It geometrically models, combines and explains all fields of science. If maths is the language of science, geometry is its grammar. Everything around us is made up of equilateral Planck coins and tetrons. They help us explain how nature is creating everything we see and feel, and we can use these two forms to unify and explain all the laws of nature from many scientific disciplines. We've already started with quantum mechanics, electricity, chemistry, biology, cosmology, mathematics and music. And using geometry, in particular the flat Euclidean 2D shape of an equilateral triangle and its related 3D Platonic form, a tetrahedron, we can now explain the quantum source of charge and how energy forms two-dimensional masses, three-dimensional matter, and all the natural forces permeating and comprising our universe. Our universe is made of energy, a sea of Planck coins that constantly interact at the quantum scale as they seek charge equilibrium. So what forms can energy take? There are actually two. In physics, energy is the quantitative property that must be transferred to an object in order to perform work on that object or to heat it. Energy is a conserved quantity. A law of conservation of energy states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be converted into differing forms. Our universe is made up of a finite number of equilateral electromagnetic energy quanta. They take two forms, 2D mass and 3D matter, and differentiating between these two forms is critical to understanding nature and its mechanics on all scales. Tetryonics provides us with the missing piece in Einstein's equation for mass-energy equivalence, E equals mc squared, and answers the question, what does mass divided by c squared equal in the math? It shows us that 2D mass and 3D matter, like the energy that they both stem from, are all related by c squared. And all three forms can now be seen and equated as mc squared equals E equals kappa m c to the fourth, giving us a complete and unified equation for mass, energy, matter equivalence. This in turn moves us from today's intangible mathematical framework filled with incoherent uncertainties and linguistic misnomers to a fully realized and deterministic geometric model of nature, its components and mechanics, free of any such ambiguities. Inertial mass is a thin membrane of EM energy comprised of a multitude of these equilateral Planck coins, whereas matter is a tetrayonic solid, akin to a Platonic solid, that displaces the vacuum energies or the ether surrounding its 3D volume. EM energy is able to exert a force at a distance to do work, and this creates the forces of nature that supply heat, light, and motion to all corners of our universe. In the form of 3D matter, energy creates solid objects, ponderable matter, and gives rise to gravity at the quantum scale that increases as the material properties of matter increase. These equilateral Planck coins, formerly Planck's constant, are the quantum building blocks of everything. 2D inertial mass is the first form of energy. Mass is both a property of a physical body and a measure of its resistance to acceleration, a change in its state of motion when a force is applied. An object's mass also determines the strength of its gravitational attraction to other bodies. It's a planar membrane of EM energy in tetrayonics. Its primordial geometric form is a triangle, and these triangles have three equal sides and are comprised of equal amounts of electric and magnetic energies, i.e. they are an equilateral triangle of EM energy that possesses inertial or inductive mass. You can think of them as a soap film. This equilateral triangle is a thin sheet, and like any coin, this membrane of EM energies has two sides or faces. Each face possesses opposite electromagnetic charge dipoles, a positive on one side of the sheet and a negative on the other. The opposite charged sides of these triangles attract each other and join up. Sides of triangles with the same charge repel each other accordingly. The interaction amongst 2D equilateral triangles make up all the immaterial energy fields that exert forces between particles, and they also create the heat that we can feel and the light that we can see. Tetryonics calls this two-dimensional equilateral mass a Planck coin. So what is the smallest quantum of energy? Max Planck and Albert Einstein both sought to determine what it was. The Planck coins of Tetryonic theory have been known by many names over the years: zero-point energy, zero-point fields, the quantum foam, vacuum energies, to name but a few, all stemming from the German word Nullpunktsenergie. In early quantum mechanics, both Einstein and Planck attempted to describe it in terms of spectral lines emissions and photons of work within the atom, a quantum harmonic oscillator, if you like. Tetryonics reveals the true geometrics underpinning both Planck's transverse spectral bosons and Einstein's longitudinal photons of work, and how both are differing formulations for measuring the same scalar energy in general, but differ in the direction of measurement and the units that they are measuring. More importantly, Planck coins in Tetryonic theory provide us with a singular geometric building block for all the energy physics of nature, the zero-point energy or zero-point field. The distribution of bosons and photons, highlighted above, forms a bell curve and thus removes uncertainty from all quantum processes. Our universe is thus wrought a deterministic clockwork universe, created and endlessly driven through charge interaction of Planck coins. We can now explain everything using a finite number of these dual-sided Planck coins. Positive one side, negative the other, thus removing infinities from the math and returning order to our universe on all scales. 3D material matter is the second form of energy. Matter has a 3D dimensional topology as distinct from 2D mass energies. As 2D Planck coins interact and connect, they form three-dimensional subatomic particles of matter. The shape of this particle has equilateral triangles on all four surfaces. In mathematics, a regular pyramid with a triangular base is known as a tetrahedron. The four surfaces of the tetrahedron each have, or are comprised of, 2D Planck coins of charged mass energy. In Tetryonics, we call this tetrahedron a tetryon, from where Tetryonic theory gets its name. The tetryon is the second form of energy, and the quantum, or first form, of all matter in the universe. Importantly, each of the four sides of the tetryon may be either positive or negative. It is the combination of externalized positive or negative charges that determines if a tetryon has an overall positive, negative, or net neutral charge. All tetryons in the universe seek equilibrium because equal and opposite charges act and react with each other at all times. This is the mechanism that nature uses to breathe life into our universe. I hope that your interest is sufficiently piqued to continue this journey with me. Join us and become a member of the Tetryonics community and marvel at the geometric tapestry underpinning nature.